Damn, fucking new chat. I, mean, I could get used to the YouTube joint. I get used to the YouTube joint for now. Whatever. Twitch done fried a nigga, bro. They said fuck your joint, B. They said fuck your joint, B. Yeah, Twitch fried me because of some Twitter things. I was continuing what I was doing. The details provided in the post about George Hoskins' photo repair registration appear accurate based on public records. He's a real individual, approximately 71 years old, residing at Associated 322 University Street, apartment 13. Damn, they got a nigga address? What the fuck? Registered to vote. So he is a Republican voter. This is crazy. He has documented history of legal issues, including a 2013 arrest and felony charge for making terroristic threat via email, offering to help plant bomb. What the fuck? And another arrest during 2019 protest at Salt Lake Chamber of Commerce. The surname Zinn does indeed have Aztec Jewish origins, derived from Yiddish German words meaning pewter and often linked to an occupational name for a metal worker, though this is in a mild, not definitive proof that the individual. Alright, so I mean he's 70, so I mean normal. Oh, okay, because I guess he's saying the parents like preach or something. Ethnically, he's Jewish. Alright, I mean, I guess. I mean, I'm gonna get off Twitter for now because they drawn. They literally, so they banned my account because I guess like I ain't know that video was gonna be like that. Like I ain't know it was gonna be that graphic. Like, but I had already showed it, so and they were showing this ring finger and shit, the pinky. So yeah,
Was hit from?
Do you think it's obvious, or you just think they don't want to get into all that stuff right now?
I think they know. I think
they know who the shooter is. This is I think
too.
a little bit of a different situation than the Luigi one where they needed the public's help. I think if they had a clear image but didn't know who he was, they would have released it. But I think they know who he is, and they are confident that they're going to be able to track him down.
And they obviously have the weapon. So,
they have the weapon?
Well, they have him. They tracked him the whole way.
How much of a jump was that?
He shouted parkour when he did it, so he's good.
But what I'm saying is, like, they didn't. I mean, but they probably would have said if somebody would have asked, hey, do you know what direction he got shot or where the bad guy was? I'm sure they would not give that information out. They would say that's part of the investigation. And we're not going to, right? Because, I mean...
You don't want to give anything away at this point that, it may compromise the investigation.
Now, remember they saying the president's coming on at 9:45?
Yes.
The president's coming on at 9:45 to...
Is that a 9/11 thing?
Yeah, is it a 9/11 thing or is it a...
Because didn't they hit the buildings at, like, was it 9:43 or...
What the
9:13?
fuck?
9:13?
Yeah. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, Bubba, bringing it back to the documentary. Real John from Naples checking in. Yippee-yo.
Man, that was... Phew,
Sorry, I wasn't
like
able to make
like an auctioneer.
I wasn't able to make that premiere Friday. Sorry about that. But
Why not?
I don't have to watch.
I mean, and I'm going to be honest with you.
Did I read the docket? It's public for premiere Friday. Sorry about that. But
Why not?
I don't have to watch kid stuff. but I don't have to watch it to know the truth because I did something no one else did. I read the docket. It's public information.
Oh, I mean, and I'm going to be honest with you, John. If you read Hogan v. Cox, it lays it all out. It really does. You know, Hogan brilliantly took 2 bites at the apple. He took a bite at Gawker, won, and Brian one would argue that was kind of like his gauge as to, you know, the temperature of the room with regards to that case, won convincingly there, and that case probably was the template they were going to use in the other one.
Yeah.
I mean, you
right.
know.
And it was clear as day. The Spice Boy admitted it. It took him a while. They were doing a whole bunch of searching, and they found that his email that he was using, some alternate email, and they questioned him.
Hold on.
He started confessing.
Gennaro. And I remember on Twitter, Lummy, you would see this Gennaro guy just killing me.
Yeah.
And that was Spice Boy, and that was the email address that he used when reaching out to, TMZ and Keith Davidson and all that. So yes, I mean if you read Hogan v. Cox, it lays it all out. It lays it all out for you.
Yeah.
I mean, probably about 70% of the doc is based on that. But then there's some, the Trump angle, the Michael Cohen angle. There's a lot that's not in those pleadings as well.
Right, and I was trying to get my information correct because when I wrote that song, The Radio Job, the parody using video killed the radio star. I didn't want to get anything wrong. I even called you and asked you if Spice Boy was ever actually arrested, and that's when I got that line from there that he went down and got arrested. He
did get arrested. He just they just didn't choose to pursue charges.
Now, does Gennaro have any meaning, Bubba?
I don't know. Like not in my world.
I was just curious if it was like code for something or
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know.
Is it an anagram for something? Has anybody really gotten?
By the way,
I think
we're still 9 on Apple TV, which is unacceptable when we were first. But we haven't been able to.
They didn't talk about it.
Been able to promote it for 5 days?
Yeah.
Now we finally opened up a day before. So anyway. Apple TV, you can go and buy it. The video killed the radio star. Pre-buy it, save $5, and then tomorrow Amazon and Google will offer it. And tomorrow's the official drop date. So hopefully those that don't have Apple but has Amazon and/or Google Play will be able to buy it, and you guys can watch it this weekend. I'm really, really interested in next week when we go on the air and people. The public, the Bubba Army, and maybe somebody that just stumbled upon it and saw that it was neat clickbait, or like Seth said, a ton of wrestling, P1s and fans that want to know about it will probably have watched it over the weekend. I'd really like to get obviously you're Bubba Army, John from Naples, so you obviously are going to cut me a break, but. I'd like to talk to a person that doesn't know me, doesn't know anything about me, and they watch it and then their synopsis. That's something that I'm curious about.
So interesting, Bubba.
And one last thing,
real quick. Hold on. This is way more important. Holly Gennaro, thanks to the listeners on YouTube, that was John McClane's ex-wife in the movie Die Hard. So it's a bitter ex. So there you go. The bitter ex.
What a dick.
That's one theory.
What a dick. Well, I mean, Spice Boy was a dick. I mean, Calta is a dick, but Spice Boy started it all. The money grubbing, thinking that it was worth, and then he should have known as soon as he started shopping it with Wicked and Digital Underground, the 2 porn companies that would do something like this. The minute that they asked him, do you have permission slips or on Hogan and Heather, and when he said no, they're like, this thing ain't worth nothing, and all that for nothing.
And then he sent, and like a coward, he said his girlfriend's friend, who was a teller at the Bank of America, in to do the switch in the hotel at the Sand Pearl.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, my friend, you're practically giving it all away, so I gotta let you go, my friend.
Thank you.
See you later.
And Trump is having a press conference about 9/11 at the Pentagon.
So
I mean, he'll comment on the Charlie Kirk thing, but it won't be anything of substance. I bet.
Right. Hello. Who's this?
Hey, this is Jason.
Go ahead, Jason. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm good. I listen to you guys on Rumble on the way into work.
Appreciate that.
And
thank you.
Yeah, man. I heard the comments this morning, and the guy was talking about the video, and I just had a couple of points, I guess. I grew up in rural Alabama, so avid shooter, hunting, whatnot, and when my wife texted me yesterday and told me what happened, my first question was, is he alive? And then she sent me a link to the video that shows him sitting there. And so, first of all, there was never a question in my mind when I saw that video that the shot came from Charlie's right, which y'all would have called, I guess, left of stage. Because when you see the blood from his left side.
So you're talking about, now hold on, if you're talking about, let's just talk about Charlie Kirk, his right or his left, rather than stage right, stage left.
It came from his right.
It came from, and the guy that we had on the phone earlier today that really has taken this and really analyzed it said that it came from his right, and then that very heinous footage that we see of it blowing out basically his upper neck.
Yes.
Somewhat makes sense. And as I watched it yesterday, I just assumed, I didn't even, you being an avid hunter and you knowing how, how entrance wounds and exit wounds probably, I'm not a hunter, so I don't know. I mean, I have guns that I shoot, like at steel cans, and I'm not shooting animals with my guns, whereas you are a hunter and you probably have a better understanding of enter and exit wounds. And so, as I thought about what the guy said and the way that Charlie Kirk kind of slumped to his left, that did the very gross, grotesque, brutal sight that we saw. After I thought about it, did look like an exit wound more so than an entrance wound.
Yeah, and the second thing was, when she sent that to me and I saw it. The thing that caught my attention is that he began to lift his arms, and I was later talking to an ex-military friend of mine who was an operator, and I said, I think it may. My initial thought is, I said it may have severed his spinal cord because it looked like he seized, and his response to that was that he said no, because you see him start to move as if he's kind of reaching, maybe with both hands for his neck, and he never made it. And he said, when you disrupt blood flow to the brain, like through the carotid artery, then it is almost instant when your brain stops receiving that blood flow.
Well, and the amount of blood literally looked like somebody turned on a fire hydrant out of his neck. I got to think that as they were,
did they hit him right where they wanted to hit him?
I think so. I think they, sir, in my opinion, if it came from Charlie's right, like, which I agree with you, and the footage that we saw is an exit wound. I mean, I don't necessarily know that they planned it that way, but I certainly think that they were trying to get a headshot.
That's what my thought would be, that maybe they were aiming for him.
Heroic sacrifices made by many that day, and by many more in the years of war that resulted. For those who grieve, we pray in the sentiment of Abraham Lincoln that you, O Lord, would assuage the anguish of their bereavement and leave only the cherished memory of the loved and lost, and the solemn pride for those who have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. For those of our day who have taken up the cause to secure our homeland, to wield the sword in righteousness to protect our neighbors, grant prudence to execute justice with honor, always mindful we are under your divine gaze. Grant the blessing of wisdom and insight for our leaders, that they may be guided to do your will. Grant humility throughout our land, acknowledging your goodness to us. And finally, we offer supplications for those who currently are deployed, underway, or on duty for our nation, Surround them with the protection of the angels and joyful reunion with faithful loved ones.
And it's not just the colleges,
Most holy
it's the
name.
nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it.
Please
It's like
join
time for
me
you guys to wake
for a
up and
moment
say,
of
no more,
silence
draw a line in the sand. I don't
for
care if
that
you hate me.
minute of impact.
And Jewish
24
donors,
years ago.
they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, today it was like I was in there in the morning, but he's still adjusting. Yeah, cause like he wanna like do what he want a little bit. Like I guess they got different teachers in the morning than a regular teacher, so they got certain toys they're not playing with at certain times. Like he's like, I want Play-Doh, and like he was kind of being like, a little bit hard-headed about that, and about and about the toys like on the shelf. But I mean, he was cool though. Like he was cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
First day he was just fine, bro. He did not care. He ain't even look back when we left.
Ladies and gentlemen, General Dan Kane,
Yeah.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
7:30 he gets there, but you could drop him off
Mr. President,
to 4.
First Lady,
But you could drop him off like anywhere from like 7:30 to like 10, I think.
and leaders from across
And then,
government, the military,
And then it's preschool, and then
first
you,
responders,
I think nap from like 2 to 4, so you pick him up right after they
and
nap.
most importantly, the families of our fallen from that day.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here.
yeah, but it's
To
gonna
gather in remembrance
gonna help
to
'em
grieve
adjust.
our nation's loss.
I said it's gonna help him adjust. We got the cameras on our phone. I said it's gonna help us adjust, but
September
we got the
11th
cameras.
reminds us
Yeah.
that even in the
Yeah,
darkest
we
of
just don't
times,
got the cameras
American
outside. That's
strength
it.
endures.
Yeah.
And if attacked, we will immediately fight back. 24
Uh-huh.
years ago, on a beautiful morning here in Washington, American Airlines Flight 77 took off at 8:20 a.m. from Dulles International Airport. With 59 passengers and crew
They
bound for Los
just don't have a
Angeles.
camera out there.
Here at the Pentagon, soldiers, sailors, airmen,
Nah,
Marines,
just
Coast
3.
Guardmen, and civilians
Tuesday,
began what they
Wednesday,
thought
Thursday.
would be an ordinary day of service. They kissed their loved ones goodbye, dropped kids off at daycare, and commuted in here for another day of duty, having no idea what they were about to face. 200 miles north of here, Al-Qaeda terrorists took control of 2 aircraft, American Airlines Flight 11 and United Airlines Flight 175. At 8:46 a.m., the first plane was flown deliberately into the North Tower. And minutes later, the second airplane was flown into the second tower. We all knew at that very moment that our world had changed, that America was at war. And then at 1:37 a.m., just moments ago, 24 years ago, American Airlines Flight 77 ripped through the West Wall here at the Pentagon, where our flag outside the building now hangs. And this ground that we stand upon became hollowed. 2,977 were lost in the attacks that morning. The conventional wisdom is that our nation went to war weeks later in Afghanistan. The truth is, we went to war immediately, and America started to fight back before the attack was even over. In New York City, firefighters, police officers, paramedics, first responders, and everyday citizens charged into towers, climbing hundreds and hundreds of flights of stairs to rescue their fellow Americans. And right here in this courtyard at the Pentagon, as flames filled the corridors and smoke followed, service members and civilians went into that flame to save their fellow teammates. They covered their faces with t-shirts rolled in water to shield their skin and pushed through the fire and rubble. They carried the wounded out and they went back in again and again and again and again until others had to stop them from going back. And even as this building burned, the Pentagon never shut down. Survivors organized and thousands went to work to defend our nation. And there were 40 first responders on United Airlines Flight 93. 40 heroes who, unlike us who wear the cloth of our nation, never took an oath to protect and defend our nation. They just got on an airplane. And knowing full well what was happening, they found the courage and commitment to run forward in that airplane, sacrificing themselves over the fields of Pennsylvania to save Americans that they would never meet and never know. And I, for one, think of them every day and the gift of courage that they gave my squadron mates and I on that day. So as we come here together, let us reflect and let us never forget. Let us never forget the families who've shown us what true courage looks like as they continue to persevere through the years after. And let us all be inspired by the determination of those brave heroes who showed us that day what America is all about. And let anybody who ever considers attacking the United States remember those examples as well, and the great American warrior spirit that was shown that day. Thank you very much, and now it's my distinct honor to introduce our nation's Secretary of War. May we never forget our fallen. May we never forget our deployed. Ladies and gentlemen, the Secretary of War, the Honorable Pete Hegseth.
24 years ago, Islamist terrorists massacred nearly 3,000 innocent American lives in New York City, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and right here at the Pentagon. The building you see behind me, the War Department, was targeted in an act of savage evil. And today on these hallowed grounds, we gather to honor those victims and heroes with the resolve to never forget. We gather to pay tribute to the first responders who charged into the flames and up the stairs, to those trapped on planes fighting their final fight, and to the families whose lives were forever altered by that fateful day. Like everyone in this audience, I remember exactly where I was when that first tower was struck. A college junior with a fresh set of Army fatigues in my dorm room closet, having just joined Army ROTC. Like too many Americans, I was naive to the threats brewing abroad and infiltrating our shores. But from that day forward, I felt an unshakable call to action, a duty to defend our sacred homeland with everything I had. Like all of you, 9/11 was the ultimate validator to serve. But I was not alone. An entire generation of warriors stepped forward, willing to pay the ultimate price to exact retribution and secure our country. Forged in the crucibles of Afghanistan and Iraq, we stood watch in distant lands on dangerous missions, often, in retrospect, nebulous missions, all to secure our people and so we could live in peace. War is an enduring aspect of the human condition, a tool that, when wielded wisely, ruthlessly punishes enemies intent on terrorizing or subjugating our nation. War must not become a mere tool for global social work, eager to risk American blood and treasure for utopian fever dreams. We should hit hard, wreak vengeance, and return home. For 2 decades, our warriors fought with valor every day, far from home, even though sometimes their leaders gave them nation-building missions and half-baked exits. Thankfully today, we have an American military that President Trump has now rebuilt twice. Yet despite the weight of history, the Department of War will always honor the service of our warriors and all they left behind, never straying from the warrior ethos they and those on 9/11 embodied and deserve. We best honor their memory and the memory of 9/11 by learning the correct lessons of that day and the decades of courage that followed. Full hearts, clear eyes. To every member of our War Department, past and present, you are the best, the real elite, the real 1% of this nation. Standing here today, we honor those 184 rings of the bell, souls lost at the Pentagon and on Flight 77. Even as first responders were grossly outnumbered by the wounded, many ran toward the chaos, cared for the injured, and comforted the dying. It was bedlam. But in that moment, American heroism was laid bare. That purpose, that spirit lives on in uniform today. Despite such tragedies, our republic endured. It endured that day. It endured on Flight 93, charging that cockpit and at the Pentagon. It endured over those Islamists. It endured over 2 decades of war, and it endured stronger, wiser, and tougher, forged by the blood and courage of patriots. Our job now is to ensure that future generations inherit a strong and vigilant America. 9/11 is vivid for me and all of you, but it will soon live only in the history books for our youngest. We must teach our children that the price of freedom we love is eternal vigilance. Instill in them the importance of upholding America's Constitution, holding tight to our freedom and our faith, and relentlessly pursuing our enemies. Prepare them to defend this nation by the ballot, the wallet, and when necessary, the cloth of our country, because the world remains a fighter's nest. It requires us. As I speak, hostile elements plot to curb our power and slaughter our people in our homeland, in our hemisphere, and halfway around the globe. Not everyone needs to wear a uniform, but some of us do. That is our profession and our promise to this nation. In closing, a reading from Scripture, Romans chapter 5, verses 3 through 4. We rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, endurance produces character, and character produces hope. On this day, 24 years ago, we suffered. In the years since, we have endured. Our service and sacrifice have forged our character, and today we stand in hope for the future of our great nation. The young soldiers who take the oath give me hope. The young cops who wear the badge give me hope. The young firefighters who answer the call give me hope. The young agents who patrol our border give me hope. The life, example, and even death of Christ follower and American patriot Charlie Kirk give me hope. Sheer courage, no matter the arena. Charlie, we love you. We know that you have heard the Lord's words. Well done, good and faithful servant. Full heart, clear eyes. Like those on 9/11, he will never be forgotten. So I thank God for all of you and all of our fighters from that day to today and beyond. May God bless our warriors as they ruthlessly seek our enemies on behalf of the fellow citizens they love. We owe you and all of those who witnessed 9/11 nothing less. It is now my great honor to introduce to you our Commander-in-Chief, President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before we begin, let me express the horror and grief so many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk have felt. Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Our prayers are with his wonderful wife, Eric, and his beautiful children. Fantastic.